Yeah, hello students. We were talking about cloning vectors and its features. So we came to the topic selectable markers in cloning vectors, and PBR322 we did in the last video. Since that is a cumbersome process, PBR322 requires lot of replica plating method, to find the transformants and then find the recombinants from non-recombinants. So an easy method which is normally practiced now in rDNA technology is blue-white selection. As I said, antibiotic resistance gene in PBR322 we discussed. So because that is not so easy while performing rDNA technology, there are vectors designed with another gene called LAGZ gene. One of the antibiotic resistance gene would be there, like ampicillin resistance gene would be there for differentiating, identifying and selecting the transformants and eliminating the non-transformants. But the other antibiotics gene, instead of other antibiotic gene, we have a gene called LACZ, which has a multiple cloning site there. And one such example is of a vector called PUC19. Though in biology NCERT this name is not mentioned, it is just mentioned along with PBR because it is not working. We have vectors designed with LAGZ gene to carry out blue-white selection process. But for biotechnology, the name PUC19 should be understood. P here stands for, the small p stands for plasmid, U for university, C for California. So this is a plasmid cloning vector genetically engineered in University of California, and the number according to its order. Okay, so what is blue-white selection? It is a method of differentiating recombinants from non-recombinants on the basis of color. So cloning vectors designed with this LAGZ gene, what is the role of LAGZ gene? It codes for an enzyme called beta galactosidase. What is the role of the enzyme beta galactosidase? It breaks down, it digests a chromogenic white substrate called X-gal into colored substance. The substrate as such is a white substrate, but the chromogenic word here refers to when enzyme beta galactosidase acts on it, the product it yields is blue in color. So the basic idea behind this cloning vector with the LAGZ gene is that the cells, when cultured in a nutrient media, if X-gal is given and the cells have taken this plasmid with LAGZ intact, the cells will digest, because beta galactosidase will be coded, LAGZ gene will code for beta galactosidase. So the enzyme being present will digest X-gal. So the colonies in the culture plate, because they are consuming the blue colored digested matter, they will appear blue in color. So this is the basic concept behind this LAGZ as a selectable marker. So how does it work? How to make an rDNA by changing this LAGZ area? So when you have this plasmid vector, what is the process of introducing gene of interest in this area, in this particular area, so that it acts as a selectable marker? So see here, this is the plasmid. Restriction site is the area where LAGZ gene is there for a particular enzyme to cleave. This is the restriction site. So you have this plasmid vector with the LAGZ gene and here ampicillin resistance gene. So you cleave it with a restriction enzyme, say EcoR1. So you get the gene disrupted. It will create a space like this. At the same time you have the foreign DNA ready, gene of interest there in the foreign DNA. So you have also cleaved that gene of interest with the same restriction enzyme. If you have used EcoR1, so here also it should be EcoR1. So you get that piece. Now this space created is between LAGZ area. That means the sequence cloning site was here, which was disrupted, which was broken. So this adhesive ends, see, you can see the sticky ends created, and here also. So this will join when treated in ligase. So in ligase buffer, this can join and that becomes the rDNA. That means mix the vector and the DNA fragment with a desirable gene under conditions that favor base pairing. So sticky ends will base pair, they will complement with each other and they will ligate. So recombinant vector carrying the gene of interest is ready. So this is how we introduce a foreign gene in the area where LAGZ gene was there. Clear? Now coming to, so this is just a recap of that area, this first part. So you cleaved LAGZ area, the foreign DNA also ready, and you treated it in a ligation buffer, that is enzyme ligase is given here in the buffer. So what happens? Of course, we are showing here only one piece of each, but there may be many such plasmid vectors cloned and being altered and foreign DNA ready. So all those given in the vial for ligation. Now, it is not necessary that all will take the insert. Some plasmid vector where the LAGZ is disrupted will take the gene of interest. Some may self ligate, that may happen. So those which self ligate, they will not get the gene of interest. There the LAGZ gene will be intact. But there would be plasmids, most of it should take the gene of interest. Now we have a culture plate with normal E. coli cells in it and the nutrient media with the normal E. coli cells. So we have this recombinant plasmids also mixed with it, and the colony starts growing, and even ampicillin is mixed here to select the transformants. In PBR we have discussed about transformants. Normal cells will be called non-transformants. Normal cells do not grow in ampicillin, so they will die. We don't have to bother about them, they are the non-transformants. But all the other colonies which have taken your rDNA, they are called transformants. So now we have only the transformants, that is of two types, recombinants and the non-recombinants. Now see here, so I'll just pick up one cell from each colony, suppose colony A and colony B. So suppose I have picked up cells from colony A. So what has happened? It is the cell with the gene of interest in the LAGZ, within the LAGZ area. Matlab LAGZ area is disrupted and your gene of interest is taken there. So that is from one of the colonies, this type of cells. So when we culture them in a culture plate, what will appear? This culture plate we have prepared with nutrient media and X-Gal. This is going to differentiate our colonies and tell us which one we want further. So X-Gal is there. So this colony, when cultured here, when inoculated here from this master plate, they will all appear white in color. Why? Why will they appear white in color? Because they have lost LAGZ gene and gene of interest has come in its place. So the LAGZ gene is inactivated. It is disrupted, inactivated. So this process of giving an insert which inactivates that original gene, the process is called insertional inactivation. And such colonies when grown on X-Gal will appear white because they don't have the gene coding for beta-galactosidase. They have our desirable gene, maybe insulin gene or whatever, but they don't have beta-galactosidase being produced. So they are not digesting the X-Gal in the culture plate. So they are not using it. They are not using that digested product which becomes blue. So the colonies appear white. Whereas suppose we were testing the other colony, suppose B, marked B, and if it has also taken, it is transformed, so it has taken that redesigned cloning vector, but the gene of interest is not there. LAGZ is intact. So when LAGZ is intact, that means beta-galactosidase is produced. So in this culture plate, these cells will appear blue in color because beta-galactosidase produced by the LAGZ gene, coded by the LAGZ gene, is breaking down X-Gal into blue product. So the colonies are growing, consuming that blue product, so they will appear blue. Can you see this? Blue colonies and the white colonies. So this is one of the easiest screening process method to differentiate between the recombinants and the non-recombinants. Which are the recombinants? The one which has taken your insert and appears white. Which are the non-recombinants? The one which becomes blue because their lag Z is intact. So I hope this topic is clear. Thank you so much.